Hello and good morning. Welcome to Matcha Mornings with Diane. I am your host, Diane. I am a dancer, performing artist based in New York City, and welcome to my podcast where I talk about all things mindfulness, life in New York as a performing artist, creativity, art, and everything in between. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my podcast. Hello. Here we are again today for another episode of Matcha Mornings with Diane. Ooh, I cannot believe that it's pretty much almost the end of November. I'm just in disbelief just how fast this year has gone by, but at the same time, it also felt like a really long year. I don't know if you guys feel that, but yeah, it's just so weird for me to be here sitting and think that it's really been almost 12 months since the beginning of 2025. And a lot has happened, a lot has changed. I know that even in just the past 3 months alone for me, so many things have shifted, and I'm at this point where I'm also just getting used to this, I guess, new version of me, and just having new intentions of how I want to approach my life, how I want to approach my career and every other aspect of my life. Everything has just changed. I know that a big part of my life is still going to be dance and just anything creative. But yeah, since it's also the end of the year, I am really just taking this time to take it slow and actually allow myself to just rest because, quite frankly, I have been feeling a little burnt out. I mean, dance is such a physical thing, and as they say, even with athletes, it's just not humanly possible to be training at the same intensity all year round. And that's why it's so important to have off seasons. And I think this is also what I love about living in the East Coast. It's having the 4 seasons, and it's just such a wonderful reminder to be able to look at nature and see how nature itself also goes through its own cycles and seasons. And for me, that gives me such a sense of relief and even permission to also slow down, because I feel nature is just a mirror of us as human beings, and we're all living things, we're all connected. And so yeah, I think it's only natural to feel a bit more tired and to feel our bodies just want to slow down. And instead of fighting it, maybe it is a good idea to lean into that feeling. I have definitely been doing that. I am also just trying to have slower days, and I know it feels foreign to me right now, especially when you're a dancer who's so used to being so busy and productive and wanting to work on things. But I think as a human being and artist, we all know just how important it is to have a bit of downtime, and remembering that rest is just as productive as our work. And actually, when we're resting too, we're giving ourselves the space to, just be. And normally this is a time when we actually get all of these creative downloads because we are well rested, because we are more in this calm and receiving mode. And we're also just not in a position to try to control everything. This is also us trying to tell the universe that, okay, I am giving myself permission to rest so that I can also be surprised with whatever you have in store for me. Yeah, anywho, I didn't expect to go off with that and start off with that. But yeah, I definitely planned to talk about this on this week's episode because this was a download that I received during one of my walks in the past week. I have actually been making it a habit of mine in the past 2 weeks to honestly just like let my words flow and just like speak. I feel like I've been experiencing like a sense of freedom and just like calmness whenever I allow myself to speak. I think for so long I never really got to use my voice, and it's just so therapeutic to me to be able to speak and let all of these ideas flow through my words. And of course, that's not perfect, but yeah, I have found that I have also been able to receive like some of the best downloads when I just allow myself to speak and let all of these ideas flow. And yeah, like the thing that came up last week for me was I remembered how, I think in the past few years, a couple of people, like a handful of people, have definitely come up to me and have said just like how indecisive I seem to be as a person because I have so many interests, and I feel like because my journey, especially in like the recent years, hasn't been so linear, and I have been dancing, but I have also been dipping my toes in filmmaking, and I have just like basically like put like a lot of energy in many different avenues, and it has been really fun. But I think my older version, like my younger version, definitely like in my early 20s, I think that it made me feel just a little insecure and almost guilty even, and ashamed for not feeling like I have it figured out, or I just couldn't seem to choose one lane. But I thought about it last week, and what came to mind was I'm actually not indecisive. I think I've just been so busy trying to prove my worth and trying to follow a path that is not truly mine because the world told me so. Like, I've been bombarded with all of these shoulds, and I get it that some people also just like have their opinions. Like, everyone will always have their opinions and their judgments. Some of them are well-intentioned, some not. But I think now I'm just like beginning to remember, and I am constantly learning that ultimately I am the only one who knows what's truly best for me. I know what path is truly mine, and that's all that matters. Like, all I have to know and stand firm in are my values and my goals. And however that looks outside or however that's perceived, that's beyond my control. And there is no use of me trying to control that. And, I think that is also such a powerful place to come from and to be able to take action from, because you are so grounded and rooted in yourself, and you know yourself so much that even when people try to offer unsolicited advice, you can, of course, still listen. I'm not saying that you should completely ignore them, but there's also something to be said about, feeling like you have to follow through or absorb them. Like, I am just like reminding myself I am under no obligation to follow that path. Like, yes, it might have been helpful for someone else, and maybe for a couple of people it worked, but yeah, only my intuition knows what's best for me. And sometimes that will look like not following any of these opinions and knowing that I probably have to do the opposite. And that's okay. That may seem rebellious, but that is my truth. And that's such a powerful place to come from. just like knowing what your truth is and being able to live life from that truth. And yeah, I think for me, I am slowly embracing and really just like having more conviction with what I truly want, what I want my path to look like, but also remaining open as to how it all unfolds, especially when it comes to achieving some of my goals and, like being able to receive some of my desires. I know for a fact that I have so many interests. I have always been a multi-hyphenate, and low-key, I think I'm also ADHD. Like, yes, I still have structure in my days, and I think there will always be a part of me that's pretty type A, and it's nice to have some structure in your days, but most especially during your busy seasons. But I think with this slower season, I am truly allowing myself to just like, flow through my days and be okay with not having a to-do list and just really be able to follow my joy and my happiness and my creativity. Like, I am feeling like so creatively fulfilled these past few weeks, and I think I could definitely point that back to the fact that I am not being so rigid about the structure of my days, and I am just really making room for spontaneity. And it's been so good for me. And I think even just for like my creative flow, it has been so healthy that everything just flows so easily. And yeah, even the fact that I got this whole theme of like, oh, actually, I'm not indecisive. I've just been so busy, like trying to please everyone and follow a path because I think that should be my path, or because that's how things have always been, at least for some people. But I think it has given me like permission to really follow my own truth and my path, and knowing that my path is mine alone. It is uniquely mine. And so there is no need for me to make it understandable or digestible for other people to to understand. And I know that sometimes that can feel lonely. I am definitely experiencing that now because I feel like such a different person now, just because I'm really approaching a lot of different areas in my life so differently from the beginning of this year. And I know that it will also take time for me to get used to it, but I know this is the right path for me. It feels right. But also, just because it's right, it doesn't mean that it's going to be comfortable. And I know for a fact that it still feels uncomfortable right now because for so many years, I have gotten used to pleasing others. And again, I think, feeling like I'm obligated to make people understand what I am pursuing instead of like really just following my truth and letting that shine through my own work and trusting that eventually people will see what I am doing and what I am trying to do to fulfill my purpose and to serve the greater good through my art, through my creativity. And yeah, also accepting the fact and embracing the fact that it's actually such a wonderful thing and such a beautiful thing to know that my creativity is not boxed into just one specific form. Like, I know that in the past few months, I am allowing myself again to just, like let that creativity flow into different forms, like not just dance. And it has like really been so enriching for me. And I feel like, like being able to pour that creativity into, say, content creation and this podcast, it also strengthens like my creativity for dance. Like, I feel like whenever I come into a dance class now, I just feel so ready and just so grounded in myself, in my own identity, that I just do not feel this pressure anymore to be chosen or to prove. Of course, I have my days, but I feel like just in general, I feel so secure. I feel so secure with the path that I am pursuing, and even if that doesn't look so clear yet to me, like, I am actually pretty okay with that. Like, I know that as long as I am showing up, I know that eventually this will come to fruition. And I think that a big part of it is also just like allowing things to come to fruition in ways that I may not have ever imagined for myself, and stop trying to control it and feel like everything has to be so linear and that every action has to be a means to an end. Because, yeah, I think the greatest things in my life, like the biggest leaps of faith that I have taken in my life so far, did not make sense logically. And I think this is what my own path has been teaching me, is the fact that it's not supposed to make sense all the time. And there's so much beauty in knowing that even if things are so uncertain, it's just really knowing the confidence in your path, in your passion, in your work, in your actions, and also just knowing that your truth and your values are all that matters. You will be led to the right places. You will be led to take the right action. And even if it seems so random, one day I know that I will look back and be like, oh my God, like I didn't think that this would lead to this, And so, yeah, I think a lot of that now for me is truly believing in my path and knowing that the only person who has to understand this path is myself. And I know it sounds rebellious, but yeah, we do not owe anyone an explanation as to how we are living our lives, so long as we're not, hurting anyone, right? Because this is our life, and, I think only us, ourselves, truly know how to live it and be able to live such a fulfilling life. And I know that for me, I just had to stop thinking in such a linear way and knowing that life is just like cycles, basically, just like the seasons. Like, we are going to cycle through life, and it's not about seeing things in like a straight line or a certain shape. It's really like allowing things to take shape, but still staying rooted in who you are and your truth. That's all that matters. And I know for myself that now, like, yeah, I am so happy that I have come to this point that I am so comfortable saying that now. That, oh yeah, I was never indecisive in the first place. I think I was just so used to outsourcing my truth when that truth has always existed within me. So, yeah, I mean, if you're in this season of a bit of confusion or just like in this very transitional season, know that you can trust that the path forward will just really unfold and you do not have to control, and trust that you know what to do. Of course, on some days you really won't know, and on some days it will feel so frustrating to not have any sense of clarity, but know that every little bit and every time you show up, that is something. That is something that will really contribute to your path, and one day you will look back and realize no matter how random that act seemed like, it all led to this. It all led to this opportunity, to this goal that you have finally achieved. And yeah, you realize that, oh yeah, I did not have to control much of it, like so silly of me to think that I could control it all and do it all, right? And that's also like such a freeing place to come from. It just like relieves us of this pressure to know it all because truly no one has it all figured out. Like that's also something that I realized like when people were telling me these things about like like what is it that you really want to pursue? Like what is your path really? Like I don't understand it. And I was like, okay, you know what? Nice. I get it. You probably have good intentions and you probably just care enough to, like make me question and think about my path. But at the same time, I was like, do you even have your life figured out? I doubt that. I truly doubt that. And so, yeah, I think this is also just like me remembering that people's opinions are also just them projecting possibly their own limitations and fears. And it is important to remember to listen to what we truly want and ignore the noise, like literally have blinders on. And yes, I know that these opinions might even come from the people who you truly love. These people are probably the closest people in your life. And sometimes it can feel like you might be hurting them, but actually you're not. You're not hurting them. And truly you do not owe anyone, like an explanation when it comes to pursuing your path because it is your life. It is your life and you only get one shot. You only get one life. And to live a life where you're always shape-shifting and following a path that's not yours, I think that's the most unfulfilling way to go about your life. And truly, you will be miserable. And on top of that, you might even end up resenting some of these people, even though they're trying to help you because you are not listening to the person who matters most, and that is yourself. So, yeah, I mean, it is weird, again, to be able to pursue a path that is truly yours and not being able to see that in someone else. Like maybe there are similar people who have really, created a path of their own, and it's so inspiring to see that. And it's nice, of course, like to be able to look up to those people and just see like how they move through life now. Like, of course, they've also had their fair share of challenges and like even frustrations. But I think to me, now that I have seen some of these people online, like it gives me a lot of hope and just a lot more confidence now in myself, knowing that it is so possible to really create a path of your own. It's not going to be easy, but I think there's just like so much fulfillment and excitement in creating a life that is truly yours and creating a path that is just yours. And yeah, I think to like being able to be witnessed living that kind of life too is such an honor and also a big, like a big responsibility for me. Like that is where I am coming from because I think my younger self would have loved to have seen someone from Manila, someone from my culture, from an Asian culture, to be able to rise above like the cultural conditioning, without like completely erasing where you came from, but truly just honoring your own path and your evolution as a person and, like showing others how possible it is and how fulfilling your life can be and how beautiful it can get, that it will only get better from here on out when you learn how to actually listen to what it is that you want and staying so grounded and rooted in your truth and your purpose, and allowing life to just surprise you, and know that you truly have all of the answers within, and there is no need to completely outsource everything, because ultimately the decision is yours. You are truly the only one standing in your own way. So, yeah. Believe in yourself boldly, believe in your path confidently and with so much trust. And yeah, you'll just be surprised just how life just gets better when you take action from your truth and your own individuality and your own desires. Knowing that, yes, you can be inspired, but you don't have to follow a path that is not truly yours. That the only path you have to fully understand, the only path that you have to walk like fearlessly and with so much conviction is yours. Your path, no one else's. And yeah, I think that's all that I can say about that for now. I didn't expect to talk so long about this, but I just feel so passionately about this because for so long I felt so insecure about feeling so multi-passionate, but there's so much beauty in being so passionate in many different things and not feeling like you have to put your all in just one thing, to be able to give yourself, like options, and to, allow yourself to be immersed in many different forms of creativity, and also just like paths and mediums to be able to create and inspire others. I feel like we need more of that in this world because not everyone is brave enough to pursue a path that is truly theirs. It's a scary path. Like, not everyone actually also feels this calling to be able to pursue a path that is so different and that is just theirs alone. So it is a privilege, it is a blessing to be able to pursue and walk that kind of path that is just yours. Like, that is a gift, and it would be such a disservice to the world to not be able to walk that path and to not believe in that path just because other people think it's impossible or just because people cannot understand it. Trust that there will be people who will eventually understand it and will be so inspired by it and are so glad that you exist, that you are walking a path that is filled with purpose, and that is also just like giving them so much inspiration to be able to live life on their fullest and truest terms. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much for your support.